I don't. Problem is, and with C in the YouTube chat is recording this here right now. All right, so that's going to disk. So hopefully the live one is good. If it's not, I will upload a nice one, smooth one later. So, all right, I say let's get going. Hopefully you'll get the gist of what's happening here. So, welcome to the show. It's JP's product pick of the week. Yeah, and if you want to get in on this product, head to this URL or over to that QR code. And there you will see that we have this show broadcasting from inside the page, and we have a massive 50% off discount on today's product pick. So if you don't want to spoil the surprise, then don't go there yet. But if you want to go and check it out and maybe get in on this discount action, head on over to this URL. And that's adafruit.com/product/4200. I like that product ID. That's an easy one to remember. So before I go any further, let's have Lady Ada tell us a little bit about this product going back to its original release. Take it away, Lady Ada.
This is the Pybadge. So Phil and I were at a vegan restaurant, and we were like, what? The food's taking a while to get here. And we're like thinking, well, what can we fit into a credit card sized circuit board? And I thought, well, you know, there's Make Code Arcade. I want to make something for Make Code Arcade. And let's make something that's basically a badge. It can be used for arcade, gaming, or badge. It's kind of a twofer, right? Because a lot of times when you have a badge, you want it to display, you know, maybe an icon or an animation or text, and you want to have some buttons and LEDs. Well, those could also be used for a gaming platform. So we just made the buttons, you know, arcade-like. On the front, you get 8 buttons, start, select, A, B, and the directional buttons. And one of the things that I can't show you in a photo is the buttons. I got these special buttons that have silicone molded tops, so they're really nice and squishy. Like, they have a click to them, but they have a squishy click feel, which is very satisfying, and is a lot nicer than just a plain button. But you kind of have to feel them to know what I'm talking about. So just imagine that in your head. On the back, you've got feather headers, so you can plug in any feathering you like. It also has stemma connectors, so you can plug in NeoPixels or sensors or I2C. The I2C port's also Grove compatible, so you can plug in Grove sensors. We've got 5 RGB NeoPixels on the front, so you can have it like sparkle and dazzle. You can use it for gaming if you want to have feedback to the user. And a 1.8-inch TFT display with 160 by 128 pixels. Runs CircuitPython, runs MakeCode, runs Arduino. So here's one demo I just put together. So because it's running a SAMD51 inside, which is again my favorite processor, it's incredibly fast. It can run like pretty much any game or emulator. Like for example, I'm porting NES emulating to it right now. But if you want, you can run Gamebrino games. So I just have to get out of here. So for example, here's a Gamebrino game for playing Tetris, and it's got a little buzzer, which is squeaking. I can get close and you can hear the buzzing. It can beep and squeak. You can also put a larger speaker on the back if you want. It has a spot for one of our 8-ohm speakers. It has an on-off switch, so you can save power. It can run off of a LiPo battery. There's a spot for a LiPo here. Has accelerometer, light sensor. You can dim the backlight. With one of our like 350 milliamp hour batteries, I got 5-6 hours of game life. So it's not too much power, and it's got holes so you can mount it into an enclosure if you like, or of course wear it as a badge, which I thought would be kind of neat. Especially with Python, it shows up as a disk drive, and then you can have graphics or sounds or animations or whatever. Like you saw that animated GIF player, well, you could have that on here and have it play animated GIFs as a badge, and then have the LEDs light up. So I think this will be kind of a neat platform for people, especially if you want to do games or events. You just want something low cost that has kind of everything built in. And again, we've got CircuitPython support through Display.io, and in Arduino we have Arcada, and then it runs MakeCode Arcade as well.
All right, so this is an exciting one. I'm going to run over to my cabinet of mysteries and wonders. You can see it right back there, and go grab one for myself. Hang on, just 1 second. Hang on. Here we go. I'm back. The product pick of the week this week is the Pygamer. This is a tremendous little board. I love it. You can use Arduino on it, you can run MakeCode on it, and you can run CircuitPython on it. It's got the ATSAMD51 chip in there. It has this beautiful TFT display. You can use this really easily as a portable device because, as you'll see here on mine, I've attached a little battery, a little LiPo battery, and it's got built-in charging. And I've also gone the extra mile and put on a little 8-ohm speaker there, so it's a bit louder than the little buzzer. It's got the NeoPixels on the front. It's got JST connections on the bottom for things like NeoPixels, I2C, any external pots and switches and things you want to add to it. Lots of buttons. As Lady Ada mentioned, they're these nice little rubber-domed clicky buttons, so they're tactile. You get a little click, but they also are a little grippy, which is nice. And what I wanted to do is actually fire this one up and show you a little demo, a really cool demo, in fact, that has just come onto the scene here. So this is, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. It has a nice on-off switch up here at the top. And what you're going to see here, let me get the glare off of there, is, yeah, that should work like that. We have this cool little asteroids game that Todd Kurt just created and posted. And you can just search for ToddBot and maybe the word asteroids or steroids. This is running really smoothly on my machine. If we're having frame rate issues, you may not be seeing this with a real smooth, buttery frame rate over the video, and I apologize for that, but it's running really nicely. And you can see this is using wave playback on the audio, and we have the nice little thrust and fire action going on there. I'm going to put my mic up close for a second so you can hear the pew-pew. And little crashes there. So those are wave playback, which is really straightforward to do inside of CircuitPython. In fact, I took the code that Todd had done and I just added a couple of lines of code to do wave playback, put a couple of wave files on there, and had them trigger on explosions with asteroids blowing up or with the pew-pew from firing. Very straightforward. You can also see we've got some NeoPixels on the bottom there that light up when we hit an asteroid or when I hit one with a projectile. There we go. You can see that goes yellow or blue when I crash into one. So that is just one fun use for it. And in fact, what I'm going to do, let me turn this off and let's head over to the product page for this. If we take a look over here, here's the product page for it. I'm going to refresh this and we'll see we have, these are in stock, which is great. And they are half price, $17.48. That's a mind blower. And it looks like we've kept the maximum per customer at 10, which is wild. We often reduce that depending on the item. So if that's in fact true and you had big plans, well, you could get up to 10 of them for half price, which is pretty terrific. If you scroll down in here, you'll see not only are we broadcasting this very broadcast from inside the page. Here I am. We also have links to the guide and a few of both the main Learn Guide and projects that have been done with it. I'm going to jump over. Here's the main Learn Guide, and this will tell you everything you need to know about the board, about its capabilities, about the pinouts, about the sensors and things that are on the board. In fact, this one has, to go over some of the specs, we've got the ATSAMD51, which is a Cortex M4 running at 120 megahertz. That's got 512 megs of flash on it, and we also have a 2 meg SPI flash for storage of wave files and game assets and your code and things like that. It has a 1.8 inch TFT display that's 160 by 120, and that's connected over its own internal SPI, so it's real fast. It has the 8 buttons on it. It's got the 5 NeoPixels on the bottom. There is a triple axis accelerometer built on it, so you can use tilt detection and shake and tap detection in your code, which is really nice. And we also have a light sensor built up right into the top here of the board. There is a little reverse mounted light sensor, so you can do things with that if you like. And then it's also got a small built-in buzzer that works pretty well for little bleeps, but you can also plug into the amplifier, the little Class D mono amplifier, a speaker, an 8 ohm. Bit of an idea of the breadth of things you can do on it. So you can run really fast code on it in Arduino, such as the Arcada code, which is a wrapper that allows you to do some things like SNE or NES emulation. I don't think you can do SNES, maybe you can. But I know there's a NES emulator for it. You can play back GIFs, really nice, smooth GIF playback also inside of Arcada. And then lots and lots of games that you can create inside of Make Code. We have a number of guides for that. There's a little case that the Ruiz brothers made if you want to wear it around your neck and have it still be protected. And then one of the neat features of the board is that we've got feather headers built right onto the back. So you can plug wires into those. You can also just slap feather wings right onto it, which is really cool. I know we have at least one guide from C. Grover, our good friend, on using a thermal camera feather wing on the back and then the display here on the front so that you can have your own little thermal imaging system. And that's just one of many, many, many things you can do based on adding the feather wings to this guy. So really versatile board and a lot of fun for beginning coders because you have so much built right onto it. The display I/O libraries inside of CircuitPython make it really easy to get started with graphic code. If you're a drag and drop coder, then you can use Make Code. And like I said, you can do more advanced things with the Arduino libraries for it. And there's even a version of Turtle Graphics logo you can use on it. Take a look. This is just one of a couple pages of guides that we have, as well as many other things that are probably out there that people have done on other resources. So, yeah, lots of good stuff. Makes for a cool controller. You've got built-in buttons and display on there, so if you want to plug in a long strip of NeoPixels and adjust things right on the board, that's a really cool setup for that. So. Let's see, do we have, I think that's all I wanted to say about it. Do we have any questions in the chat? Let me know. Someone said they wanted to, Dexter Starboard says we wanted a What's for Dinner Tonight board. That's a cool one. Good, good. Doctor got a couple of Pybadges, excellent. And yeah, so yeah, a little more about this thing actually, since why not? We've got time here, right? I'm going to jump over to, let me switch screens here for a second, and I'm just going to go to the page with that asteroids code. How about? So I'm heading over to GitHub, and here is Todd Bott's GitHub. Here is CircuitPython Steroids. To avoid trademark infringement. And you can see here, this is actually an experiment that Todd started just a few days ago and has gotten it running on the Funhouse, the MacroPad, and now the Pybadge. You can see here there's a picture of the Edge badge, which is a very, very similar board. It just adds a microphone and some different graphics. Yeah, so all the code is here. All the libraries you need are listed in the requirements. So easy to get started with. I modified just a little bit of code to add color. I wanted to go for the kind of green-blue overlay that you see in, I think it's Asteroids Deluxe in the arcade. It was still a black and white vector display, but they put like a blue-green overlay between you and the screen so they could add color, which is kind of fun. And then I added the sound effects and changed the size of the graphics. But it's a fun one to play around with, and of course getting into the code, which you can see. Let me turn that off so it doesn't pew at me. Which you can see right here. This is my code that's running on there, Todd's code, I should say, that's running on there. And so this is a really nice guide to look at, or a nice piece of code to look at if you're interested in doing game programming on the Pybadge. And also, it's pretty interchangeable with the Pygamer. Very, very similar board. Just some small differences in the control scheme with the joystick there. But so have a look at that. That's on the GitHub repo right here, and the address for that's github.com/toddbot/circuitpython_staroids. I love asteroids. It's a great game. So I think that's going to do it. That is our lovely product pick of the week. It is the Adafruit Pybadge, and it's designed to be worn as a badge. I added a little bit of cord here so that I could hang it from my board. You could also make a lovely little bracelet or handheld with it, or wearable. So that's going to do it. I'm going to hang that from my pegboard, which you'll notice I've added some pegs. I have a bunch more that I got that I can finally add to the board there. So don't forget, head on over to that URL right there if you want to get this frankly astonishing 50% off discount on the Pybadge today, and today only. In fact, just during this show. As soon as this show ends, poof, the discount goes away. So if you're thinking of getting one, get one. Really fun handheld. All right, I think that's going to do it. Thank you so much for stopping by. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this has been JP's Product Pick of the Week. Bye-bye.